Eric Bieniemy was the longtime 3-4 year offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, working underneath Andy Reid, working alongside Andy Reid, a somewhat valuable assistant coach who helped Andy Reid execute the Kansas City offense. Andy Reid called the plays. Eric Bieniemy was his understudy. Everybody in the media reached the conclusion, how come, the Chiefs are winning Super Bowls and Eric Bieniemy has the title of offensive coordinator. How come he's not getting an NFL head coaching job? The only explanation could be these NFL owners are racist and this whole system is racist and they just don't want to hire black men as head coaches. Eric Bieniemy is the greatest head coaching candidate in the history of football. People said that repeatedly. He eventually left Kansas City and became the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. That didn't go all that well, and he and Ron Rivera and that coaching staff got wiped out after one season. And they had a chance. Eric Bieniemy was there potentially to be the next head coach of the Washington Commanders. That did not happen. He got let go right along with Ron Rivera and the rest of that staff. A new staff featuring Dan Quinn has come in and done a pretty remarkable job with a new quarterback, and Washington's offense, Washington's team looks much, much better. Eric Bieniemy did not land another NFL coaching job last offseason. He chose to be the offensive coordinator at UCLA under first-year head coach Deshaun Foster. Did I get that right? Deshaun Foster, the former running back. He gets the head coaching job at UCLA. He's some sort of running back assistant coach, I think, in the NFL at the time. Somehow he gets named the head coach at his alma mater with a limited resume. And Eric Bieniemy says, I'll join you as offensive coordinator. That didn't go well. And now the relationship has ended. Again, Eric Bieniemy's agent says, hey, this was understood at the very beginning. Eric was going to just be here for 1 year, help Deshaun Foster get his feet wet, help get him on his feet. Let's read the statement from Jason Fletcher, Eric Bieniemy's agent. Eric and UCLA mutually parted ways today as previously planned. He's still getting paid by the Commanders. After interviewing for head coaching jobs last year, he wanted to stay active and busy. So he decided to go help out Deshaun Foster, who is like his little brother at UCLA, as opposed to sitting out a year. The plan was always to return to the NFL in 2025, and he's looking forward to the opportunities ahead. Now, ESPN, their story says, their sources say, and there was a headline story on ESPN, Eric Bieniemy fired. Who knows? I don't really care about the details. What I mostly care about is how the mainstream legacy corporate media and their sycophants and social media used and abused Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy was a prop being used by Mina Kimes and all the rest of the race baiters, Ryan Clark and Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp and all the other, Nick Wright, all the other race baiters who love to just say race card, race card, race card. Racism explains everything. It doesn't matter how many black NFL head coaches or how many other guys, Gerard Mayo, D'Amico Ryan, doesn't matter who gets named head coach in the NFL. It doesn't matter that NFL owners pay players, black players, $30, $40, $50, $60 million a year. Don't you know they're all racist? Yes, the NFL, and this has been undisputed, and I've been saying it now for nearly 10 years. No industry has created more black male millionaires than the National Football League. No industry has done, not rap, not the NBA, none of it, not drug dealing, none of it has produced more black male millionaires than the National Football League. But that league is racist. It's run by the KKK. They just hate black men in the NFL. First Cup Coffee, Christian-owned Patriot Coffee Company that stands for core values, family, and building community across the nation. Go to firstcup.com, use the promo code JASON, and save an additional 10% on your order. And if you subscribe, save another 10% for the life of your subscription. And so I want to play you a compilation of a handful, half dozen, 6 to 10 folks that, that we hunted down. Like, here are the people blaming racism for Eric Bieniemy's inability, despite many, many job interviews, his inability to land an NFL head coaching job. Play the clip.
Eric Bieniemy, who, despite coordinating the most explosive attack in football, did not get an offer to be an NFL head coach. Now, recently, as the ranks of non-white coaches have dwindled, everybody's been looking for explanations other than discrimination. People give opportunities to people who remind them of themselves. They're not always related to them. They're not always undeserving, but they are buoyed by forces more powerful than any football trend. And it's those forces that explain why the NFL's coaches and players look nothing alike.
And the very simple answer is a lot of even well-intentioned white people deep down somewhere, whether recognized or not, don't think the black guy's quite sharp enough. You can do a lot of things, but offensive coordinator is kind of a thinking man's job, and we don't think Eric can do it. And it's amazing to me.
I don't want to be the guy that always has to bring up that black coaches are continually overlooked.
So while we talk about Bieniemy, we should talk about him because he is a glaring example here. He is the face of a much larger and insidious problem in the NFL.
Eric Bieniemy under Andy Reid for damn near a decade. Well, he doesn't call plays. There are a lot of guys. Skip, Joe Judge never called a play.
He's a special teams coach.
Got a job.
I mean, and that is the one box people say Eric Bieniemy doesn't call plays. Even though several coaches have been hired after not calling plays.
Zach Taylor?
Well, there's a lot more than that. Joe Judge is a lot more. He checks that box. What else is there going to be besides the obvious?
Eric Bieniemy is not a head coach because he's coaching under Andy Reid. Matt Nagy became a head coach coaching under Andy Reid. If Eric Bieniemy is not a head coach because he's black, well, coaching the Commanders ain't going to take away his blackness.
And I say this in all sincerity. He's a victim of a group of people who think they're well-intentioned, who think they're promoting change, but they're really just a group of idiots who don't have more to offer to the conversation other than race baiting. They're simpletons, and some are simpletons. Others are even more calculated. They're building their own brands. They're trying to convey what a good person I am. Look at me. I'm standing up to the racist white man. I'm on TV telling everybody, these powerful NFL owners, they're racist. Oh, God, look how courageous I am. I'm speaking truth to power. You're clout chasing. That's all this is. And you're trying to convince yourself and convince others that you're better than other people. Eric Bieniemy is a victim of people's own ambition to build themselves up, to make themselves look courageous over social media, to gloss over, in my opinion, their own racism. They don't think Eric Bieniemy is qualified. They don't think black people are qualified. They don't think black people can meet the standards, and so they want to turn the discussion into something stupid and simple. You just won't give them the job because they're black. We're going to pressure you into, we're going to smear you into giving people jobs that they have not earned. Because they don't believe that black people can earn it. They don't believe Mike Tomlin, he's an aberration. Tony Dungy, he's an aberration. And so they have used Eric Bieniemy, because we have not heard, at least I haven't, I don't know what Eric Bieniemy says in private, but what I have not heard him say publicly is, hey man, I ain't getting these jobs because I'm black and these people are racist. Maybe he thinks that. And maybe behind the scenes, he's been putting a battery in all these people's backs, calling up Mina Kimes, hey, go tell them that they're racist, that's what I'm going to. Maybe he's doing that. I'm unaware. I feel like he's being used unfairly. And now he's been positioned as the next Brian Flores. Because Mina Kimes said something very interesting that is true. Ownership, decision makers, management, they want to empower people who remind them of themselves. And so what they mean by remind them of themselves is they want to empower people who share their values. Hey, I have a set of values that has made me a multi-billionaire. I have a set of values that has made me a leader in the sports industry. I have a set of values. Some of these guys, their argument is that took me from poverty to one of the most powerful people in the country. And I want to empower people that have that set of values. And so that's the messaging that should be going out to Eric Bieniemy and anybody else seeking positions of authority in corporate America, in the sports industry, in whatever industry you're in. What are the values of ownership? What are the values of senior leadership? What mentality have they embraced? And can I embrace that mentality? And what Mina Kimes and Nick Wright and Emmanuel Acho and Shannon Sharp and the other people are like, well, black people can't have the same values as a white person. Our skin color stops us from having those values. And so if ownership is sitting there saying, hey, I don't want my football coach to feel like he's a victim. I don't want my football coach obsessed with race. I don't want my football coach to think that the whole world has been lined up against him, because I don't want that mentality going into my players. If my players have a victim mentality, they will not perform at the level of players that don't have that victim mentality. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.